Look at that, the first sign of spring. Welcome back. I decided to work outside today because it's such a beautiful day. This is the new rear rim I got to replace the one that had the missing spokes. This one came without a tire on it. I want to replace the wheel bearings. Now this wheel bearing retainer has been staked in 4 places, and if you try to get this nut out, very good chance you're going to ruin the threads. That's exactly what happened on my CB350 twin, because I didn't know any better. It helps to have this tool, and that goes in there, the little holes. What we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/8 drill bit and drill down where these stake marks are to try to free this up. Because it's aluminum, you don't have to go down very deep. Maybe 1/8 of an inch or so. Of course, now we got chips in here, but we're taking that all apart anyway. And that's it. Just that little bit of drilling there, and that's all you need to do, and it won't ruin the nut. Okay, bearings. Should be able to just get a punch and drive them right out. Fingers crossed. Drum looks in really good shape. There we go. Bearing and tube. Should be pretty easy now to get this side out. There we go. All right. I believe this side has a collar in it. I have to remember that. Put that in the new one. So I always buy the same brand as All Balls Racing bearings. I've had good luck with them. Sealed bearings. See if we can drive this in. and you'll feel when you can't go in any further. Alright, got the collar, drop that down in there. More. That should be it. Put our nut back on. Alright, we'll stake that and we should be all set. So those of you who have seen me mount tires before know that I absolutely do not like this. It's windy out today. Getting the rim strip all in there, lined up with the hole. Take the valve core out of the tube. I'm going to put a little air in here just to get it, you know, so it doesn't fold over inside the tire. we're going to stuff our tube inside the tire, and then we're going to mount it all at once. Now one of these tools helps. Can help you get the valve stem through the hole. Just thread it through. Now I've got my tube inside the tire. We're just going to thread this inside the valve stem where the valve core would be, because that's removed. And as we line this tire and tube up, we simply pull it through. You can unthread this and put your nut on. Okay, those of you who have seen me do this before know I like some kind of window cleaner to use as a lubricant when I mount the tires. And I like to use this because once it dries up, it doesn't leave any greasy film where the tire could actually spin in the rim and snap your tube, your filler on the tube. And there it is, mounted. It was a pain. I stopped filming after a little while. I got 29 pounds in it. I got to put the valve core in it. But there it is, all mounted. Now I got to dismount the front, change the bearings, and put a new tire on that one. So this is the front rim, and on this one it's got this, you know, another type bearing retainer. I did the same thing. I drilled out the holes. This one has flats on it, so it's easy enough just to take a screwdriver or something and get this one going. And you can remove this cap and get at your bearing. One. It's interesting. If that will not come out, it's interesting. This will not come out. With that bearing out. That is interesting. So, I believe what we have to do is take these bolts out, take this cap off. This is for the speedometer drive, and then we can get that bearing out. So it appears we have to unbolt the rotor to get those bolts out, so we can get that cover off to get the other bearing out. So I just hit one with a zip gun, and it came off pretty easily. I'm going to mark this rotor so I know exactly what direction it was in, where it was mounted before. As suspected, when the bolts come out, this comes off. Does that help us at all? This still has to come off here. We'll tap on that and see what happens. And usually I don't read any manuals or anything. I just like to, you know, do this and see how things are put together. That was fairly easy. All right. So there's our other bearing. That should be easy to get to now. Just gotta get that part out of our way. Should put this up on blocks. Our spacer and our bearing. This is interesting. This does not have a lip to stop it from going down. We're just going to go ahead and keep going until it's flush. We put the cap on. That looks pretty good. How many of you saw me just put that bearing in? And you didn't remind me to put this back in.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
All right, get the other side bearing back in again. Before I put the rotor back on, I'm gonna put this bearing in and get this all done. All right, bearings in, retainers in. I got the valve stem out. I'm not gonna put the disc on until I get done mounting this tire. So it's pretty much the same routine. I took that tire off, put a new rim strip on. Going with the old school look tires because, you know, I kind of think that's cool when they have these good looking tires. I know there's ones that are better handling, but these are also cheap. So if you know me, that's what I went for. Filling this tire up, all mounted. Ooh, I'm glad that's over with. Only have 3 more to go this year, I think. 2 for the Honda Black Bomber and 1 for the Yamaha XS2. Almost there. All right. This rim needs to be cleaned up as well with some steel wool and cleaner. Now that I got the tire and all that mounted, I'm gonna put some Loctite on these bolts and we'll put that brake rotor back on again. So it goes on in that direction. Now the axle comes out with the wheel, so I had to remove the axle before I could start doing the bearings, obviously. So I will show you how that's done after these are all tightened up. So this is the rim and tire that came off the bike. The rim I had I'm going to use came with it as a spare. So there's a nut here, and what I did is I put that in the vise, and then I'll show you how we took that axle out. So this is the nut that's on the rotor side. This is the axle and the speedometer drive that goes on. So I'm going to put the tire on here, rotor side down, put this through, tighten it up. I'm just going to put a big screwdriver through there and tighten it. There's two little tangs in here, and you just got to make sure that they're lined up. They're kind of big and wide, so it's not that hard to see to line them up. All right. All right, that should do it. I'm going to do some cleanup on this rim because it's kind of rusty, and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. All right, because I know you're all dying to see how this is done. So, see the rust through here. All right. What we're going to do is take some 4/0 steel wool, some metal polish cream, put it on up there. Just work it around. Take our microfiber cloth. And that's it. Brings back the nice shine in there. All right, I got the rest of the rim to do. All right, all the chrome is done. Came out pretty good. I know there's going to be those of you out there who are going to say never use steel wool on chrome because you're going to scratch it. Well, I would agree if this were like pristine chrome, just back from the chromer or some show quality thing, but this isn't. This had rust. You know, it was dull. It really looks good now. It's hard to argue with, you know, the results. So that's how I clean them, and I think I can put the front fender on and put this wheel on. So this is the original front fender that came with the bike. This is beyond, you know, getting out with a steel wool pad. That's deep. The new ones does have a little surface rust on it, but much better shape, and you know, I think it was like $20 something. It's got little dings in it. It's not perfect. It's better than this one, so we'll clean that one up and put that one on. Fender's on, all new hardware. Wheel is next, and there's the front wheel installed. All right, now that the front end is on, I guess we will start with the brakes. All right, now that the front's done here, we can continue up on top putting handlebars, headlight, all that stuff in. So for the gauges, like these dome nuts here are pretty rusty. I have some new ones, just, you know, in a bunch of my extras. So I'm going to just, like that one I replaced, I'm just going to replace all the rest of them with nice shiny new chrome dome nuts. Alright, so I didn't have two more of these, so I just polished those back up again. They look pretty good. I do have a couple that I will use on these posts though, because those were really bad. I think those were like these nuts. Okay, time to put the gauges on. I have the gauges on. I have new speedometer and tack cable, so I'll put them on now, and then I'll put the headlight bucket in. Okay, speedometer was simply putting the cable down here, running it through the fender loop, up through here to the speedometer, tack. We hooked here, ran it down through here and into the engine. And that's those. I have a different set of handlebars. I have to take the controls off of those and then put the handlebars on. Then maybe I can get all the wiring in the headlight. And I still got to do brakes. How many of you noticed that I had the signal lights on upside down? Had the right and the left reversed. I had the nut up here instead of the bolt head. So that's how I kind of quickly figured it out. I also had to grind paint down inside here and here where these make contact, where the headlight shell is going to make contact, because that's what grounds these stems. So I had to take a ohm meter and make sure that from here to here I had a ground. And then inside the headlight shell there's these nuts that are hooked to ground, and they'll go through the bolts and that'll ground the ears. Okay, I think next I'm going to do the handlebars. So these are not in great shape. As you can see, the bolts are rusty. The anodized black controls are a little worn. The adjuster for the cable, that was rusty. We'll do what we can. I'm going to replace these grips when we put them on. I'm not really going to do anything with these. I'm not sure how to repair them other than paint them, and I don't know how that would work. So, all right, we'll continue taking these apart. I got to get these wires out of these handlebars and feed them through the new ones. All right, there's one. I can see if it's this much fun getting them out, you can imagine how much fun it is trying to get them back in again. A little grease goes a long way. I'm not sure how they did it from the factory. I wouldn't want to have that job. Whew. Finally. All right. Now the fun of putting them in. So when I was doing the Kawasaki W1, if you watched that series, you'll know I had to get some safety wire for the clutches to put through the clutch bolts. So what I've done is run a piece up there and through here. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to wrap it around the wires, and then I'm going to put some electrical tape around that. I'm going to grease up the wires, and we're going to try to pull it through. All right, I got the wire wrapped around here. I'm going to tape it up so these ends don't spread apart while I'm pulling it through. And then we're going to give this a shot. Well, let's go for it here. This is the easier of the two. It's got the less wires in it. That didn't go too bad at all. Well, I hope this one's successful. It was a little tougher getting everything together. It's just so much fatter. Well, it's through. All right. Ooh, good. That turned out better than expected. Now I can mount the switches on the bars and then put the bars on the bike. Now, if you remember when I was checking out the lights originally, the neutral light didn't work. I traded one of the bulbs in here for the neutral light for the high beam, and it does work. So I figured I'd order, a couple of bulbs for it. Well, the bulbs, Honda bulbs, they're $1 something a piece, but like $8 for shipping. So what do you do in that case? I ordered like 10 bulbs, and hopefully I'll never have to pay shipping again. So I replaced all 4 bulbs in here, kept a couple of the good ones just in case. That goes in there, and then that snaps over like that. All right, now I can put this on and put the handlebars on. And of course I have new handlebar bolts too. I'm just snugging these for now. We'll see how I like them when we get this thing down on the ground. So checking for continuity to make sure I have ground at this signal light. 0.2 from there to there. But I don't have it when I put the bolt in to bolt this here to the ground wire in here. So obviously my washer is not making contact in here, so I'll have to grind more paint off. More of my lovely paint. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this one. I'll probably work on all this wiring by myself. It's kind of relaxing. Yeah, so next time I'm going to have to get to these brakes. I think do that, put the headlight in, grips and some cables, and I think the front end is done. All right. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. See you later.